Good morning, everybody. Hugo, what's up? Can't wait. Let's get to work. Absolutely. Naif, hello. The Matthew01. Top of the morning, Sam. Hey, Tom. John, good to see you in the chat as always. How's everybody doing? How are you guys? I'm feeling well rested, happy. I've had a great weekend with the kids. We just, like Sunday, we took them out. We were like, all right, let's see if we can totally exhaust them. So Sunday morning, we started with park number 1, and basically went to, how many parks did we do? I think we went to 5 playgrounds in total, but we actually played on 3 that didn't have any other kids on it. So it's just like, we just ran them. And it was kind of an experiment to see if at the end of the night, like when it was bedtime, if that whole thing would make bedtime easier, and maybe we could sleep in a little bit, because kids just ran all day to the point where like the little one just kind of started crying at the last part because she was a little just feeling overwhelmed with all the activity. And yeah, it didn't work. It did not work at all. It kind of backfired on us because everybody was really grumpy at night, and they definitely didn't sleep in because children don't work like that. Sean, hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm glad you're good. Tom, you're enjoying your vacation. Oh, nice. Exams starting in a little bit. Very good. Hugo, you just bought a new monitor? Heck yeah. Which one did you get? I've been monitor shopping myself. Always. I mean, you know. Hey, Michelle. Oh, right on. You were able to sleep in today. That's great. So I need your guys' opinion on something. I just ordered some new glasses. These are new. By the way, these are Warby Parkers. I like these, but I want to see what you guys thought about these. Are you ready? Here goes. What do we think? What do we think about the clear frames? Let me know in the chat. You got a Dell 32-inch curved 4K for gaming. Nice. Very good. Yeah? Clear frames? 10 out of 10. Excellent. Very cool. I wasn't really sure. So when I hedge my bets on glasses, I usually go Zenni. So Zenni Optical, like I think these were $12 plus $20 for all the coatings that I put on. So they're super cheap, and you don't have to like actively go to like a eye doctor for that kind of stuff. But then when I know I'm gonna like something, I'll get Warby Parkers. But yeah, I kind of like these. I don't know. It's a little distracting because you can kind of see the clear frame around your face. But thanks. Where can you find the Twitch chat link? We'll just head to twitch.com/Mr. Ben Burns. Hey, Zach, how's it going? Use a MacBook Pro. Just need the upgrade with all the... Yeah, I like the MacBook Pro for portability myself. And obviously I use Windows to stream. But... usually productivity stuff is run on the MacBook Pro, which goes right into the big screen. And I've got a 38-inch right now, which I absolutely love. Thank you, Zach. Fonts are just looking too blurry since Big Sur. Yeah, I agree. All right, so what'd you guys do this weekend? Do you guys have like meetings on Mondays? Because Mondays are like a meeting intensive day for me. Like I wake up, do my thing, eat breakfast, get some coffee, and then I sit down, and when I get up next, it's literally dinner time, and I've had meetings all day. Yeah, Monday meetings is crazy. I try to group all my meetings together, so I only take meetings on Mondays and Wednesdays. Fridays are kind of a flex day for meetings for me, but I try to reserve Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then usually Fridays for more of like a making schedule than a managing schedule, because they're just two different worlds. Michelle, you got the Surface Studio 2. Is that the big one? Is that the big one that like folds down flat? That's cool. I've always eyeballed that. Like, man, if I was an illustrator, maybe I need to get that and then learn illustration to justify that purchase. Hey, Alan, how's it going? Yeah, meetings definitely are draining. It depends on the kind of meeting, though, because sometimes, like, you just have that one really good meeting, you know, that just makes your day. Hey, Matt. Matthias. Michelle, I'm jealous. She said, yes, it is. So she's got that big ol' Studio Windows iMac that actually folds down and is a touchscreen. So cool. So cool. I'm actually working on the logo for this series. And it's just gonna be a handwritten thing. And I'm doing like stuff on a whiteboard and then taking a photo of it and then bringing it into Photoshop and stuff. So it's looking cool, but it would be so much easier if I was using an iPad or something like that. Oh, but Tom, you can't multitask in meetings. Everybody knows the multitasker in the room. Because you see your eyes, they're like, you know, you're looking all over the place trying to, yeah, that's tricky. It's tricky. I think that having the camera over here and then your monitor over here is the only way to do it. Is the only way to multitask. Somebody should make a video on YouTube about how to multitask in a Zoom meeting, because it involves several $1,000s worth of gear to do it well, right? Because like, if your camera is off center and your eyes are over here, you could kind of take that meeting pane and move it to a separate area of the monitor, right? You know what I mean? And then you're focused on where they were, not where they are. But the thing is that when you get called, you kind of have to, out of your peripheral, pull that window back into view without going, yeah, what happened? You know what I mean? Like, without the glasses reflecting what you're actually doing. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a, you know, and you may even need to invest in a really large teleprompter, because then you're looking straight down the barrel of the lens, like you're eyeballing people the entire time. And really, you're just scrolling Twitter this whole time and no one can see it because it's on the teleprompter. Right? Scary. Seems like attending the meeting just got easier. Yeah, exactly. They need to make a teleprompter that's like this, but like you take a 27-inch monitor and you lay it down, and that's your teleprompter, right? No, but honestly, if you get a nice camera, even if it's like you run your phone into your computer, if you get a nice camera and you just offset it, then you have the field of view over here, right? Now everybody on the team, I've just doxed myself, just totally. Yeah, somebody's gonna call me out next team meeting. Hey, good morning, Manny. AA, hello. Travis, good to see you. Am I the only one in here that remembers when the TV size was 25-inch? No, man, we were poor kids. We had to get up and turn the dial on our old TV. There was no remote in my house until I was like 10. Hey, Manny. Daryl, good afternoon. Ojas. I am well, thank you. What are my thoughts on niching down? It's essential. Yeah, I think you need to explore different niches as you progress through your career. But I also think that like if you're not focused on one thing, it's gonna be real tough to make ends meet. Speaking of meeting, be right back. Did you do the teleprompter thingy? No, I have a teleprompter that I use on my tripod. So I basically take this camera whenever I need to shoot something static that isn't this background. I take this camera and I put it inside the teleprompter over there. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, I brought these out for this stream. Yeah, and the thing about putting a teleprompter on the desk, I was gonna put it right here, like right where the main camera angle is. I was gonna put a teleprompter there, but it's very deep. So like the teleprompter is about this deep, and it's got the screen that sits here, and then the glass that kind of sits here. And the problem is that like to get the front of the screen to line up with like a monitor or something, you'd have to overhang it off of. It's just a weird shaped piece of equipment. Yeah, that was the goal though, is to have a teleprompter permanently affixed to the desk somewhere. Yeah, no. Hey, Room 9. Yeah, miss you too. It's been a while. All right, we're gonna get into some Webflow today. So let me share what we've done so far. Room 9, you got a job? Congrats, man. Chat, tell this man congrats. We got to celebrate these things. What job did you get? Yeah, for real, hype. Yeah, I know you were applying to a bunch. So what'd you end up with? Let's hear it. Chief Design Officer of, no, I'm just kidding. Lead content creator at a local restaurant. Excellent. That's great. It's also interesting that a local restaurant has that position. That's awesome. Congrats. Man, that's good to see. It's awesome to see like that transformation even in a Twitch chat. Like, great job. Great job. All right, let's take a look at where we're at in Webflow so far. Make sure that still works. It does. Okay. So we've come a long way. And as you can see, I'm just kidding, this is a blank page. I'm saving the home page for last. Okay, so the first video that we did was we built the style guide and we set all of our type sizes, and we're using Tim Rick's wizardry method. And that means we have text that scales with the browser width, and then at a certain point it locks. So I think the break is 1920 pixels wide. So it's pretty cool. Stoked about that. And then we went into our now page and we started laying this out. I think we got all the way down to this point on our video. And then from there, I kind of took it over, worked on it a little bit in the weekend, and got the rest of this stuff here. So this slider does not work yet. I don't think I'm gonna fight that battle on stream just because I've already streamed putting together a slick slider. So I'll probably do that at night with a beer. And then we've got our footer down here, which we need to flesh out. So I'm already working with symbols. I've got some animations in place and some interactions. So I'll show you those. So we'll go to preview. So all of my scroll stuff, I'm gonna wait to the very end to loop in that locomotive scroll. But I did end up adding hover effects to these. So those are pretty fancy. I'm not like 100% sold on this, but for a first crack at it, I mean, it's pretty decent. I think the double fade in from the side or the double wipe in from the side is a little much. Might actually just add some, like have the green block show up, like fade into view, and then wipe away on the image. But it's pretty cool. All right, and then we've got our button animation that the line just kind of rotates out, comes back in. And I think that's it so far. Yeah. So it's coming together. Not too bad for a few hours. Should stream it again? Maybe. FinSuite does not approve of wizardry. Yeah, I know. I've watched that video. They also don't approve of a lot of browser pushing CSS, and I think that's totally fine, right? So if you're doing client-based work, their major thesis on that is that wizardry is really difficult for clients to change and improve. That's fine, but this is not a client website. I'm never going to ask somebody else to update this, so it is what it is. Also, if you're working with clients and they don't know what EMs are, should they really be updating their own website? I don't know. I don't want to take on those guys because they definitely know better than I. But I did watch that video, and I was just kind of like, that their entire thesis rested upon other people and clients being able to update things and keeping things simple with pixels. But then you're leaving a lot of artboard space and functionality on the table that is pretty cool. So, like I said, do you? And it's probably true, but the thing is that, like, I don't know. If I wanted to increase the font size of this entire thing, I would literally only have to go into the body. Let's say I wanted to decrease everything. So oops. Let's say I go into the body and then pick this. I can literally say, all right, well, let's decrease everything down in size. And it does it. So I think that there are, here, increase it so you guys can see how that works. It didn't change. Why didn't it change? Oh, because it's locked. It's locked in place. So let's go here and then change it. So like, it's pretty simple to do. And then in order to tweak something in a specific container, you just change the container's font size. So again, I don't want to like go at them because they definitely know way more about dev than I do. But I also think it's, don't discourage people from playing with stuff like responsive type, no context. So yeah, changed content maybe, design definitely not. Exactly. Like most of the clients that we build Webflow websites for are not going to be in here tweaking font sizes and stuff like that. All right, so we need to kind of flesh out the footer here and then get to work. Probably do the blog post next because that's going to be a little bit beastly on the type. I want the entire blog post to be inside one rich text block. So that's going to be fun to be styling the imagery. All right, so we're coming up on the end of the seltzers that my good friend John Beatty sent in. So seltzer of the day is Spindrift Raspberry, Cranberry Raspberry, sparkling water. There it is right there. Focus, there we go. These have all been delicious. The only one I'm like kind of meh on is the blackberry one. That one was not a favorite. Okay. So I've also got our XD doc up here that has all of the stuff. And we've got a pretty simple footer. So it's just a privacy policy, terms of use link, links, and then the copyright. Nikki, you jumped in right as the Seltzer ASMR went off. Very nice. All right, so let's see. Trying to remember how I built this here. So we've got our footer top container, and that has the resource link and the meta text in here. And that's a button. And then we've got section line and then the bottom container. So we'll throw a couple of link blocks in here. So here's a case in point where where wizardry is really helpful. So I put some text in here, and we've got meta text here. And you notice that right now the meta text is pretty large comparatively. So we'll just do privacy. It's probably a little difficult for you guys to see that. Going to add a whole bunch of margin to the bottom of this, so we'll do 900 pixels, so that way you guys can see it. Somebody remind me to remove that. But you notice that like the privacy policy link here is set to 14, so it's a lot smaller. But the thing is I don't want to loop in another text styling, so I think what I'm going to do is just change the parent wrapper font size so that this EM actually, it stays the same. I'm not adding another type styling, and I'm styling the type with the wrapper. So we'll go ahead and set this to maybe 0.7 EW. That's about good. Maybe a bit lower. There we go. So now I've got the link, which I have to style because it's going to have its own paddings and margin and positioning and all this kind of stuff. Maybe even a hover effect on this. So I've got that link wrapper that I have to style, and then my meta text, I can just leave the styling as is. Webflow interface on stream is bad every time since we can't zoom in. Yeah, very, very true. Okay. So let's throw a couple right here. Probably do. Probably need some wrappers here. So you can see I just added a div and then styled it flex horizontal. And that's just I've found that like sometimes you just need to set something flex horizontal. So I always have just a simple class that does that. Again, I just try to reuse as many classes as I can and just be efficient with CSS, because as we've seen on the Futures website, it can get out of hand really, really fast. Just gonna continue to check my XD doc. I'm not concerned about making these measurements like precise to the design, but if you are, you can actually run the calculator on your distances here to get your EMs, which is some pretty simple math. But so for example, they're 60 pixels apart at 19 20 pixels wide, so you just enter in 60 and you get that 3.13 EMs. So I can go over here and you can see I was almost spot on, four EMs, so 3.31, and then it's exact. Do we have here? Just the copyright. Okay, so we'll need another flex wrapper. Copywriting or copying this copyright symbol because I forgot the keyboard shortcut for Windows. So that does not need to be a link. And we'll just go ahead and do, actually we'll duplicate this class. So we'll do footer. That margin, here we are. So it's probably a little bit, it's the section line that's doing that. Okay, there we go. So we'll do, let's see. Where did I put that margin? Here it is. Get rid of that. There we go. So I wrapped the entire footer in a symbol. And one thing I noticed that is relatively new to me, probably not new to Webflow, but these, let's see, link block, what is this, override fields? And it's basically saying inside of a symbol, which you can reuse on multiple pages, you can set fields that you can customize for each instance of the symbol. So for example, this link is going to change as well as the text on every single page, but I don't want to have, you know, its own footer on each page. I want it to be all under this one symbol. So I'm going to set one field for the URL that it's going to call to, and then another field for this text. Hope that makes sense. Hey, Chief. Nerdski, you doing wizardry on your new site? Smooth sailing so far. That's great. Yeah, I'm pumped about that. Zach, I would definitely advise trying wizardry because so far, so good. Control K to open up search in Webflow, and you can quickly find the elements you want to drop in. Saves having to leave the nav. That's cool. Okay. All right, so this is brand new to me. I did it with the button symbol, and it was a little bit tricky. Let's see how we go. All right, so do footer. Next link. Create. Okay. And then edit settings, and it's going to be page. There we go. All right, so now I have inside this symbol, I've got a link block setting that I can change between every instance of the symbol, which for me is really cool. So let's also add link to field, new field. So footer, link, text. So the only thing that I'm confused about here, let's see. Select this. Okay, there it is right there. So right there. Okay, so I'm out of the symbol. And if I click on this symbol, which is always indicated by this green box and a green highlight color, when I go over here to my menu, let's see if I can zoom in on this for you guys to see. Again, this is totally new to me, but I have an option to change the footer next link, which is this entire wrapper, and the footer link text. So if I wanted to change that, I'd say collab. And now this instance of the symbol has been changed, but everything else, all the other instances, will not change. Super cool. Okay. Jordan, all right, so you said Control K to open up search. Let's try that. Find anything. Footer symbol. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've never mastered the keyboard shortcuts on this. Wait a minute. By hitting enter, did I just add it? Yep, sure did. That's really neat. Huh. And then what was the other keyboard shortcut that you added? Control enter to jump to the selector and name the div element. Oh, very cool. All right, so basically all that did was I clicked a div, hitting Control Enter, goes right to the selector so you can class it or name it. That's nice. Mastering the keyboard shortcuts in Webflow has always been on my mind, but I've never prioritized it. Yeah, no, believe me, like keyboard shortcuts are a lifesaver. And if I were in Webflow more often, definitely would be a priority of mine. Like when I first converted to Windows and I was in Photoshop or Illustrator working, I forget which one, I think it was Photoshop. I was totally lost because I hadn't changed my keyboard layouts yet, and I hadn't like looked into all the differences in keyboard shortcuts, and I was trying to navigate with the main menu. I couldn't even find that. I was just totally lost. Thank goodness my keyboard had as a Windows and Mac layout. Yeah. Hey Isaac, good to see you over on YouTube. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna say this page is done for now. We have some interaction work to do. We got to refine the hover effects here, and we definitely need to work on the menu at some point. But what I want to do now is head over to the blog post page and get that situated. Okay, so here's a blank page, and I think what I'm going to do is actually just copy and paste the page content from the now page. Body new. No. There it is. Okay, let's orient ourselves to this design. Okay, so it's a different header. And then we go right into our text here. The trickiest part is going to be working inside of that rich text field and styling, trying to get these images to style correctly. All right, so because I'm working in a collection template page, I can dynamically pull all this text from the blog articles that are already inside the collection. So right here, this is Fear, the Great Driving Force. And I'll go ahead and click Get Text from Content, and we'll pull the post title. Okay, so you can see that this header is higher on the page. It's actually more, it's like closer to the halfway mark. And it's also inset here. So we'll do that with padding and wrap this header in or wrap this heading in its own wrapper. Daniel, thank you. Appreciate it. Do I do the full design in XD or just a general idea? Man, I wish I could tell you. It's different for every project. I typically don't take it all the way to designing every single hover state, especially if I'm jumping into Webflow myself. But you know, if you're working with a developer, designing everything out is pretty much essential. So yeah, it's basically done. I'm like I said, I'm not going to design every single page, especially if I'm doing the Webflow build myself. But I would say that that's probably the right way to do it. is to be very thorough in your design phase. See how wide this is, this gap. 130. .77 EMs. See, instead of doing that, so basically the difference is no margin, and then I set a height of 90. Okay. So we'll do and then I think I had flex, vertical, and disperse like this. Don't want to do that. Probably just do here and add margin to this wrapper. I wonder why this feels it's a little lost. It's probably because this is set in VH versus EMs. Mm-hmm. Daniel, I'm a marketer in my function, but also do rudimentary designs and wireframes, then give them to the designer or developer. But I noticed that can naturally lead to issues. What issues, Daniel? Daniel's over on YouTube. Manny likes REMs over EMs since you don't have to worry about inheritance. Makes sense. Yeah. Where the hell is Daniel? Yeah, that totally makes sense. However, Wizardry requires EMs for all that stuff, so. All right, let's figure out how I want to do this. See, that gets lost because this is set to VH. It's content header, the height. So if we were to just remove that, there it is, right there. I think that's the solution. So basically I had this section here that had a set height that depended on the browser height. And because this heading content, or the content header is meant to be more in the center of the screen, I had to remove that limit. So I think what I'll do is just reduce this a little bit, bring this down to a halfway point. We can also increase our margins here. So maybe too much about there. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So we get into tablet there, which we're not doing yet. Okay. So I just set that image to pull dynamically from our content. Get down to the rest of the page. Yeah. All right, Daniel over on YouTube says, in terms of communication, because I'm not a designer, so what I make doesn't look fantastic. So I'm contemplating on how to make that process better and maybe doing joined work in XD. Sorry about all the periods, by the way. My MacBook makes a smiley out of XD. You know, I actually asked the product team about that. The ones that were around when they named when they renamed it from, I think it was Adobe Comet to XD. And they were like, yeah, it was totally unintentional. It's crazy. Okay, so as far as making the process of a handoff better, I think it's better to literally just send over sketches instead of actual design documents. If you send over something that's been designed in a design document to another designer, the way I feel whenever I receive that is like, ooh, do I literally change everything here because it's so terrible? Not saying you're terrible, but like I'm worried about offending the person who sends it to me, and so I don't know how much permission I have to make changes. And so if I don't have that, then, you know, obviously the design's not going to be the best. And so what I would do instead is literally sketch something out on a whiteboard or on a piece of paper and send that kind of wireframe over to a designer, because that says to me, all right, here's the idea, here's the concept, now I can go make it. So just a tip, try it out, see if that helps things. All right. So now we're into the content on this page. And we've got our date in that column. Let's see. See, that's going to be an issue too. Wouldn't be bad if it was here. But basically I'm asking the image caption to be totally outside of, or partially outside of, the rich text box over here. Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, let's try it. We can pretty much get rid of the rest of this stuff here. We'll keep this one. So I want to add another section for the actual content to live inside of, and I'll keep that featured image in its own section. So we can do that and replace this text with the date. Let's see if we can pick the formatting here. Probably not. Which case, so we did month, day. I think that's an M dash. Just copy that. Yeah. And year. So we'll go, let's see. Here. Add our M dash, and we'll add the year down here. So that makes no sense until you just wrap it. A div. There. Easy way to get the date formatting that you want. Okay, I'm gonna try. Let's see, rich text. Ooh, yeah, that is way faster. Okay, so we'll get the text content from the body. Ooh, this is rough. Rough. Okay, one thing that I forgot is you can't style inside rich text elements on the template page. So we're gonna have to do that on a separate page. All right, let's see. Do content, pull this. Go over to our style guide. Add more text here. Okay. So a couple things. You can see that the type is just not great. We have a lot of text styling to do, including this bulleted list. So we're going to have to style that. So we'll start there because that is an eyesore. All right, so when you're working inside of a rich text field, it's almost like everything inside that field can be customized depending on how the rich text field is classed. So if you have this collection of text, right, you've got a heading in here, you've got subheading, you've got your H1, H3s, you've got paragraphs in here. Everything can pull from the default styling, which is what I prefer, or you can layer classes on every single rich text field that you do, and then and edit how those are going to be displayed. I think that's kind of a pain in the ass, so I'm going to stick to the default styling and literally only use one, the default rich text field. So you can see, instead of classing this list, I'm styling all unordered lists. This took so long for me to figure out. All right, so you can see all list items is set to a totally different font, totally different weight, and a totally different color. So just by simply resetting all this, we've got our styling here. All right, so then we need to mimic the paragraph styling, which is 1.46 EM, 1.21 line height. There we go. Great point. I would reduce the meta using something like 0.7 EMs instead of VW, so that it still adjusts based on body font size for tablet and below. Wait. What are you talking about, Tim? Tim Ricks is in the chat, though, ladies and gentlemen. The legend himself. Good to see you, man. All right, so I think that's fine. Like the bullet points are inset. Let's see, we can go here, edit that to be maybe 2 EMs instead of pixels, and 8 EM. Add a little bit more. Yeah, Tim's over on YouTube. Oh, maybe he's watching the delay and he's talking about the footer. Watching it on delay. Okay. So I think, so right now we're on the style guide, working on this rich text field. And obviously the paragraphs are way too long. So I think what I'm going to do is change this style item and add just a 3-column. So that way everything is at the width that it's going to be on the blog post page. So we really see what's going on. I don't think it will ever have a H1 inside of a blog post, so we'll leave that. But we will have H3s. So we need to work on our margins. Probably go 0.5 and 2. Whoa! H2s need some work. Way too far. So we're just going through and making sure our margins on all of our headings make sense. And really what we're trying to do is add more margin on top of these things than we put on the bottom, because usually when you have a heading, you want that heading to be related to the text that follows. So we'll H5, 3 and 1, H6 is going to be the same. Okay, this is looking a lot better. Let's see those changes implemented on our template page. Better. Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break, run to the bathroom, and when we get back, we'll start tackling these images. Okay, don't go anywhere. back. Reload that player. There we go. How you guys doing? Hanging in there? See how this looks in full screen. Okay, not bad. Sam is focused. Good. All right. We're going to go back over to our style guide. We're going to add some images to this. Rich text. Okay, so here's what I'm going to try and do. If we go back to our XD document, we've got one of these images here. And when you add images into the CMS in a rich text field, you basically have three options. You can have it centered. I guess there's a default, but you can have it centered, but then you can also have it float left or float right. And I don't think it's float in the true sense of the word CSS wise. But I've always wondered if you could style those settings so that you could have these like images that break the grid, etc. So that's what I'm going to try to do. And I've never done this before, so I don't know if it's even possible. So if you've done this, let me know. You need a second? Okay, yeah. Be right back, guys. Family stuff. And we're back for good this time. All right. So styling images inside rich text that responds to the styling that you get in the actual editor. So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. If we go to content here, here's a rich text field. Okay. And then we can click this little plus sign here and then add an image in. So we'll just go, just keep that there. All right. So you can see we've got a couple options. Oh, there's new options. First, we've got, hold on, what is this? Oh, I see. Okay, so we've got alt text, size, and link. This is all new to me. I don't know when they incorporated this, but it's great. So we've got centered, which is you know, the default size. Go original sizing or set a custom width. Okay. And we've got full width of the container. And then we've got position normal, which is left aligned. And I guess we've got float left. So maybe the text wraps. Let's try that. Yeah, the text wraps around that. Okay. And then float right. So what I want to do is to be able to style one of these positions. And I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do that. What we did at the Future initially was to have multiple rich text fields. So you can see in this collection, I started by doing that where it's like, here's a body above the gallery, and then here's one below the gallery. But that was really confusing on the back end, you know, after you've developed it for a while and you just want to post a quick blog post. It was confusing to figure out like what part goes where, etc. So that's why I'm on this kind of maybe fool's errand to see if these things can be styled. Okay, so let's set that as image there. I'll save that. Go back to content template. Okay, so here's the image. It's set to normal. Let's go to fear. All right, so right now it's wrapping. Ah, you can't edit it. Let's try duplicating it. And then disconnecting. Nope. I mean, I could publish it and then go to the front end and pull that class, but I'd much rather style this thing inside Webflow itself. Have you guys ever done this? Let me know in the chat if you have. Yeah, try publishing it and inspect it. Yeah, so we've got a class here. Rich text align float left. Rich text figure type image. So I mean, we could adjust this styling in the CSS, but I was hoping to avoid that. All right, so we've got float left, which I don't really want. Say 0, 0, negative 10 EM. That. What did I do wrong? Oh, probably spaces. all the developers in the chat are just cringing right now. I feel you guys. I feel it. Display table? Maybe that's what it is. Valid property. Here, margin left. Yeah, I probably formatted that wrong. So we'll do -10 EM. So this says max width 60%. Max width 100%. That'll work. No cringe for me yet. Sometimes this is the easiest way to debug things when you try to tweak style thing. Yeah. And it is what it is. Display relative. Or no, that's position. Hold on. Block. That might actually work. Okay. Let's copy this into our style tag up here. That works. It's not the prettiest, but it definitely works. Right. Or excuse me. It's pretty. It's not the most elegant, but it works. See ya, A. Thanks for joining. Right. Probably want to increase that to pull that all the way over to the side element, or to the side of that column. Let's do that on the front end so that I think that works better. 15. Hugo, we'll see you later. Oops. Okay, so that Gets it to break the margin, which is fine. Whoa, we have 2 Hugos in the chat? How did that happen? Great name. Amazing results. All right, let's go ahead and change this to our float right. And adjust the margins on that side. I'm basically just going to copy the class here and then duplicate our styling in our HTML. So do this and paste the rest of this in here. Then change this to margin left 16. Save, close. See if that did it. I need to put a margin right on there so it calculates the width of the image properly. Let's try that. Wait, did I put pixels on there? Maybe it needs to be padding for this one. Because basically if we're going max width 100%, as you're pushing in that left margin, that 100% decreases the size of it instead of pushing it out. So we can either change the max width to fitting the actually putting a unit on that, which I hesitate to do. I like to keep things in percentages, or we figure out how to do this a little bit better. Maybe we just do padding. Nope, that does the same thing. Try setting the embed to position fixed so you don't have to scroll up. Oh, jeez, man. You are awesome. So padding didn't do it. Let's see. Hugo Bernardo is the sexiest though. That's funny. Max width none with 50 EM. Okay. Yeah, right? Having Tim in the chat is awesome. Tim, do you prefer Timothy or Tim? I don't want to keep calling you, like shortening your name if that's not what you prefer. All right, so 50 EMs. Maybe we go 70 EMs. That actually works pretty well. Genius. Oh, no padding? Okay. Probably gonna be margin right. Negative 16 EM. Right? So what is going on here? It might be hitting the edge of that content. There it is. Okay. So what we did there is margin left. We added margin here versus subtracting margin because everything's calculated on that left line there. So the only thing to make sure of is that it's not breaking the bound. Yeah, it is. So here's our scroll wrapper and our content. There's that content container here. So we just need to reduce the width a little bit. There it is. Still outside that bound. There. Okay. I think that's about good. I think like a bunch of bags of Cheetos would really tie this page together. Bunch of bags of Cheetos. I'm confused. Okay, so we've got our float left, float right styled. Let's check this. I think that's fine. And full width. I actually want this kind of image to break the bounds. Move the embed pop-up module to the side and then just hit save in the future. Update in the background and you can make adjustments. Ah, true, but you couldn't scroll up and down with that thing open. Because I think it's in this symbol. Yeah. So we can move this to the side, but you can't scroll on that page. Yeah. So we'll publish this. So basically a full width image. I want it to break the bounds just a little bit to get rid of like, or to just kind of mix up the grid a little bit. So we'll do the same process. We'll publish, pull the class, and then style it. Yeah, this is the first time that I've done this process. Let's see, figure width. I'll make that like 120%. So we've got it centered, margin right and left. Clear those. Chat, what is clear? I've never looked that up. Clear CSS. Do not allow floating elements on the left or right side of a specific or a specified P element. So default value is none. I see. So it allows floating elements on both sides. So if we did have something floating, gotcha. So both, we're not allowing floating elements on either side. So we want that. All right, so to get this image centered, we need to calculate how many EMs this column width is. So we'll go in here. Let's see. So we've got 1,000 pixels width at 1920. 1,000. So that's 52.08 EMs. All right, and then if we were to increase this to 1200, so overhang like 100 pixels on either side, we'd want 62.5 EMs. And then we can calculate our margin left to overhang. So pulling out the calculator. 62.5 minus 57.29. That's 5.21, and then we divide by 2. Hopefully this is right. 2.605. Let's try that. Negative 2.605 EM. There we go. Centered. Break the grid, break the rules, but knowing the rules first sets you free. You might be able to do this all with percentage, width 120%, margin left 10%. Oh, that's probably easier, Tim. The delay! Oh, that's funny. Okay, so let's try that. So here's a perfectly centered image, I think, maybe. Let's go 100%. No, we'll do 130%. And then margin left would be a negative 15%. Yep, that did it. Dang it, Tim. Boom. There it is. I think that's all the styling that we need on images. It's gonna be an interesting thing to fix for mobile. That works really well. All right. Okay, what's next on the dock? All right, I'm completely abandoning this caption thing. Let me see. Let me add a caption just to confirm that this is the right decision. I'll add a caption and we'll see if we can break it away from the image. Nafe, thank you. I appreciate that. Right. Content. Image caption here. Let's go ahead and put the same stuff as this. All of this is like the purpose that I'm doing all this image styling is so that in the future, when I'm plugging things into my website as content, I don't have to do any of this stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and reclass this. Whoops. As float left. All right, there's your issue right there. So if I wanted that caption to show up over here, let's see how we can do this. Caption display table. Caption side bottom, maybe right. Nope. Top. Yeah, okay. Are we gonna do this? I don't know. Because we could just change that. Everything's display block here. But I guess that this width. Oh yeah. So maybe change that to absolute then. Tim's just, I don't know if you guys are over on YouTube as well, but Timothy's just basically typing code for me. Thanks, man. All right, let's try this, Tim. Here we go. Ooh, okay. What if we did that bad boy? Okay, so this is almost right. So let's do. How do we center this thing vertically with position absolute? Is it like top auto? Whoa. No. I think the vertical align needs to be assigned to the div. So display, flex, justify content, center, align items, center. Holy smokes. Hey, Timothy, do you want to jump in Discord? If you want to jump in Discord, man, I would love that. And I know it's probably a pain in the ass with like the significant delay between here and YouTube, but I'm sure that like people would love to hear your voice. Let me know. If so, I can send you the link. Once again, that delay. Oh, I just caught myself. The little thumbnail of me wearing these new glasses. Dude, I like them. Captain Heroes, speaking of percentages, are there places that they don't work? I kind of use them for almost all of my elements in Webflow. Okay, cool. All right, so I actually would love for Tim to answer that question. So let's pull him into Discord. I'm gonna go to just chatting, guys. We're gonna figure this out. All right, go to email. So T-Rix, I will send you an invite over email to Discord. Oh, I'm stoked about this. I am stoked. I think we need to change the stream info. Let's do this. Done. All right. I think that this flags kind of a bigger concept that we need to talk about. Like, I am well aware of my limitations, both as a designer and as a like this visual developer role, front end person. And I have zero qualms about calling a lifeline, calling in somebody for help, and I'm certainly quite grateful for people like T-Rix who can jump in and help out. And I find that like the developer community is so I don't know, for some reason they're so much more willing to help people than the design community. It's very strange. You know, there's not a design GitHub where everybody collaborates or gives the opportunity for collaboration and learning, which is really interesting to me. And I know that Tim is really more of a designer than a dev, but he's got so much front-end experience. It's going to be infinitely valuable to have a conversation with him. Hugo, truly hope in a couple weeks I'm finished with my new portfolio and ready to get scrutinized, critiqued. Well, cool. Bring it. Designers are always competing. Hey, bath water. Yeah, I don't know why we're I think a certain level of competitiveness or competition is a good thing, but the thing is that like you have to compete by bettering yourself and not tearing down others. And I think that is the flaw in many design circles, is that we build ourselves up by tearing down other work versus simply just trying to improve our skills. Be interested to see what a crowdsourced design version system would look like. Yeah, I mean, I think there's something out there that already does this. Oh man, I'm gonna forget. Let's see, collaborate. There's a tool out there. Abstract, that's what it is. Abstract allows teams to collaborate on design systems and stuff. But there's no like public design thing like GitHub where you can branch off a design and improve on something. That would be really cool. But again, you know, I don't know that it would succeed because of the huge faction of designers that literally do that. You know, they tear down other work in order to critique and build themselves up. Haveen, what's happening? We're waiting on Tim Rix to join the Discord. Here we go. Waiting room. Hey Tim, can you hear me? Oop. Just popped out. I'm gonna figure this out with Tim. You guys don't go away because this is gonna be awesome. More for me than for you, but you don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am super stoked to welcome Mr. T. Ricks to the chat.
Hey, everyone.
He's in Discord. We're gonna hang out, and he's gonna help me out with this more custom stuff. So, super stoked for this. Tim, thanks for doing this.
Happy to be here, man. It's looking awesome.
Thanks so much. So Jordan says, "Hey Tim," and Hugo's kind of flipping out a little bit that you're here.
Hey guys.
Well, cool. All right, so let's get started. All right, so we were working on this. Oh, matter of fact, you probably can't see my code, right?
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna change the screen share here. Change Windows. All right, I'm gonna go full screen. So you let me know if that's too crazy for you. I can always increase the font size so you can see it.
Okay, yeah, this is good.
Okay. All right, so I think what I want to do is center the caption vertically. So how do I do that?
Okay. So it looks like this caption is inside a larger div, and the parent actually holds the image and the caption. So this is perfect. Because we can just position, and you already did position that caption absolute to the height of the image.
Mm-hmm.
So the next step would be, and I think you did that too, setting the height to 100%.
Yep.
So if we hover over that caption now, it should be just as tall as the image,
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Yep. So the next thing we want to do is just drop Flexbox on that caption. So that way we're centering inside that div that's holding the caption. We're just centering it from top and bottom.
Oh, jeez. So we want to go row and then justify center.
Yep.
What? Dude, that's awesome. And I think that's it, right? Hold on, let's see.
Right. So no, it doesn't matter how tall the image you upload in this spot is, the caption will always be centered within the height of that image.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I'll copy that over here. And how does that work with when this thing starts decreasing in size?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to reduce the width and probably the margin a bit because it looks like it's going off the edge of the page.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to make sure it stays within our container at all points. And then on mobile, we'll have to write a media query probably just to change this back to position relative instead of position absolute.
Okay. So let's see. Jordan in the chat's like, play it cool. Play it cool. All right. Okay, so let's see. We are display flex, which is not going to change. I imagine that it's going to be both width and margin, right?
Right. Yep.
Okay, so...
Which in your design, it looks like that text was always intended to stay within the container.
Yeah, so it's meant to stay... Well, I guess we're working with a larger image too. So that image is probably like here. Maybe it's like here, right? Because it's 100% width and it's moved one column over. So the caption is... Yeah, so we're working with a wider image there. I think if I'm going to do that float left, maybe I can just always... Ooh, this is tricky. Maybe we need to set like a max width on this that's not 100%. Because right here it works, you know? It's 2 columns wide, and then the caption is always 3 columns wide.
So maybe we do that. Maybe we find out how many M's is 2 column wide image, and we always have the image being two columns, and always have the text 3 columns.
Yep, I think that's it. Okay, so it's 1200. No, it's 660 pixels. So we'll plug that in here. 34.38 EMs. So we can bring that back here. I'm gonna move my code over here so can always reach it.
Mm.
Okay, so max width is probably gonna need to change, right?
Right. The max width would be none. We don't want any max width on these. And then we want to set a width to just a regular width.
There we go.
And then we should be able to figure out how much padding you have on that outermost container that the text is inside of. The rich text. Like how wide is one column essentially, and that's how much margin we'll need to push it over to get it to start where it needs to be.
Okay, so you want me to calculate the width of one margin?
Yes, of one column.
Of one
and
column.
You probably already have that in Webflow. If we go back to your Webflow project in the designer view.
It's a percent. So I usually do 20% width based on the container width.
Oh, I see. Okay, we just need to figure out how many EMs is that 20% then.
Well, if this is 2 columns, we just divide that by 2, right? So 34.
Right. In theory.
So 17.69, right?
Right.
So that's going to be one column over. Okay, then we're going to go back to the caption, right?
Right.
Okay. So right now we've got a margin right of 80%. Does that need to be EMs now that we're working with this?
We probably will set that in EMs. We should probably set the width first.
Okay.
Figure out how many columns, 3 columns in EMs, what that needs to be.
That would be 1,000.
Okay.
So 52.08 EMs.
Perfect. Let's see what that does.
It destroyed it.
Ooh, okay. Oh, because you've increased the font size, I believe, of this text block. So now it's relative to that new font size.
Oh, really? Oh.
So is this 2 EMs, the font size?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just need to take whatever our width is and divide that by 2.
So we'll do 26. Oh.
Yeah. Alright. And it looks like it's starting, if you uncheck the margin for a second, is it still starting where the image itself starts? It's starting, yes.
Mm-hmm.
At the start of the image. One thing that you could do instead of position, where we do, instead of right 0, we could do left 0 to anchor it to the left side of the image.
Okay.
And now we know we just need to push this over 2 columns. So whatever the width of the image was.
But since we changed the width of the font size, it's going to be divided by 2, right?
Right. Is there something inside this div that we're doing? Instead of changing the font size on this div, I'm wondering if we could change the text inside.
Oh, I see.
Like it. Yeah, that way we're not having to worry about these relative units.
So I think one mistake that I did was there's the figure, which is the width of the overall thing. And
Right.
that's what I styled here. So the container div is being set, which the caption is within.
So that would be an easy fix in the Webflow custom code, is just taking that class you have now and then putting a space after it and typing the word div. So it's only going to grab the div that's inside of that class. That would be one way to do it. But even with this, I don't think it's going to mess too much up, honestly, even with the way you have it now.
Okay.
Just this right here, we would need, we have left margin or margin.
Yeah, we have margin right, 80%.
Probably need to give it left margin instead, margin left. And that would need to be equal to the width of the image itself.
Which was, I think it was 34.
Okay.
Yeah, there it
This
is.
should- Okay, perfect. It starts right where the image ends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then do we have any padding in this?
Not yet, no.
Okay. It must come with some default padding because the text isn't touching the image.
It doesn't look like it.
Huh.
Maybe it's just not long enough, because you can see there it should touch the image, but there might not be enough text here.
Right. That's probably the issue.
Okay, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong here? Is this written wrong?
No, I mean that looks right. It's all separated by a comma. That looks correct.
Invalid property value. Shouldn't be. Yeah, no. Doing something wrong.
So weird.
Okay. So we can't style the text individually, can we? As far as increasing?
It doesn't have a class, so I don't think we can, but let me see. There may be a way to style text inside a div.
Okay.
I was hoping it would be like some paragraph text or an actual element
Mm-hmm.
that we could grab there instead of just text, but it doesn't look like it is. And if anyone knows in the chat, feel free to share as well. We might be able to, one thing I've seen done before is we could grab the class, or what is this? We have to get the class.
Well, if we break it out like that, I just basically reduced all of the I divided all the widths and the margins by 2, and then increased the font size here to 2 EMs.
Okay.
And that might work, actually.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. You can also, like that, caption that we have selected. I think in CSS, if you put a space and then use the asterisk, it's going to target every element that's inside of that element. So that might have been another way to do it.
Yeah, I see.
But this works for sure.
Dang. That's awesome. Okay. I'm going to copy this and get this into our Webflow install here. You guys, let me know if Timothy's coming in a little low, and I can turn the music down. Nafe, your idea worked. Temporarily double the text and test it. Yeah. Hey guys, why don't you use Editor X? You could have solved this 20 minutes ago. I doubt it. What we're doing here is we're not just styling text. Like that would be easy. Like if we could just grab some divs. We're actually styling the caption that's assigned to an image, which is a little crazier. Okay, so then the other change that we made here is we changed this styling for the float left. Float left.
Do you have a selector for the caption yet in your custom code?
There it is.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah,
This guy?
I think so. The text is kind of small. I can't really read it, but I think.
So rich text, figure, fig caption,
Perfect. Yep. That's it.
Oh, does it distinguish left versus right?
It doesn't look like it. So the parent does. If you go back to on the live site, your embed, parent has a class, right?
Yeah.
Left and right.
Float left, float right.
So what we could do, we could use those classes and say only grab the caption that's inside of the float right and do this to it. And same with float left.
How do we do that?
You copy the exact class that you had above of the whole right and left. Yep. And yeah, that whole thing really you can get. And then we can replace our selector here or what we're targeting with all that. And we only want to get the caption.
Okay, how do I format that?
Maybe just create a new line right above this line and paste in everything you had before.
Okay.
And then hit a space on your keyboard and then type the word fig caption. And then another space in the open bracket. And then that would basically only get the fig caption inside of the float left. And save that. Should work. Let's see. Where'd it go?
That worked.
Yep. Oh, awesome.
So we do the same thing with float right, except we'd want to reverse everything. So let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and change that in here. Float right. So the reason why this is tricky, guys, is because we're not dealing with like a default Webflow thing. We're dealing with a built-in captioning tool for each image so that I don't have to like create a new page every time I build a blog post.
Right. And even if it was just an image with a caption underneath, that would be a lot easier. But because it's in a dynamic CMS rich text, Webflow doesn't really give you complete control over every part of a rich text from the designer view. Which if we're comparing that to Editor X, I'm not even sure if how advanced their CMS is. I had to look into it, but not sure what it has as far as rich text goes.
All right, so we're gonna do increase the size so you can follow too.
Okay.
So margin, we're gonna turn this to margin right?
Yeah, we can do that. And if so, we would want to change that left to right above it. So we're positioned absolute to the other side now.
Okay, let's check that. Close. Very close.
Okay. Is this image still our 2-column? This one looks a little
Oh,
wider.
yeah, you're right. So we go float right, and that was 34.38 EMs. Okay, so that looks almost right, except this is too far to the left.
So do we need to push the image? How far did we push the image over? Is it, we didn't push it over.
Yeah, I think we need to adjust the float right margin left. Something like that.
Okay, yeah. That's perfect.
Yep. And so really what I'm going to want to do, I mean, these are fine, but I'm going to want taller images in these space, kind of like how I've laid it out in XD. Because even this is not a true 16:9 aspect ratio. It's a little less wide. So that's just something for me to remember, because this looks way better than that 16:9 aspect ratio.
Right. I think rich text, it's going to be whatever height you upload the image. But I mean, you could probably force a height with that code. Since you already have the image selected, you could probably set a height on each image and just set it to cover.
Well, if I set a width, and literally the image is already at the aspect ratio that I want it to be at, it should work, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. If this were a client site, I would definitely want to do that. Probably wrap the image in a div that, or set it to cover, so that the div crops it or something like that. Let's see.
Boy, it doesn't matter what aspect ratio you upload. It always stays.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of this and then add in. Let's see if I've got one somewhere. Let's export this real quick from XD. Float it left. Let's see how that looks. Yep, that looks right. And then we go and add a caption to it. There it is.
Perfect.
Dude, that works great. You flip it and see. Make sure all that beautiful styling comes with us. And it does. Woo!
Nice.
That was stressful. That was stressful for me, man. Thanks for coming in and helping. Jesus.
Sure thing. This is fun.
Well, cool. Well, I know you got a meeting to run to. But once again, man, thanks so much. Like I was telling people, I think while you were jumping on Discord, it's like the design community as a whole is full of amazing people, but we're not as collaborative as we should be. It's like we really need, like, the fact that you give as much as you do at such an early stage in your career is incredible. And I think more people should be like you.
Well, thank you, man. I take that as a high honor. So thank you.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it, and have a great meeting.
You Have a great rest of your stream.
Thanks, man. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Man, that was awesome. Like I said, guys, you know, if you come up against something that you're just not sure of how to do it, or just reach out to somebody. You know, the only thing that you sacrifice is your ego. So this is great. This is something that I've always wondered if you know, if it was possible. And I always knew it was possible with custom code, but I honestly didn't think that we could get the caption to look that good on these things. So just to recap for you guys, this is a blog post. It's tied to a collection in our CMS, and inside the CMS we literally have one option to add an image, right? And it's built into the rich text, and inside or attached to the image you can style it in literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways, 5 different ways, and none of them look great. They all looked really basic. And so by grabbing onto our float left, float right, and full width classes here, we are in really good shape. So yeah. Whew, that was something else. Now call Denzel Washington to join the stream. That's funny. Ben, is this tied into Bootstrap? It comes from Jackalope over on YouTube. It's not exactly, but what I've done is in my design document, you can see I'm working on 5 columns, and so I basically have a content container here, which is the width of all 5 columns, and then each one of these is a certain percentage. So if I have a 1 column layout, it would be 20% plus the padding. And then same thing with all the rest of these. So if I have, like for example, this text block here is inside of a 3-column layout. And then of course, when we go to mobile, the columns stack just like on Bootstrap. Oh, what's up? Hey, Mason. Good to see you in the chat. I got a lot of water to drink today. So what do you guys think? Was that like way too deep for this, or are you guys into the process? They're like, we're not even watching right now. Stream's on, but we're AFK. What would be your approach to learning XD for the first time? Get in there and do it. Like, do a UI challenge, find a UI course that's going to give you assignments. Because I think that theory will only take you so far. Like, there's only so many videos that you can watch until you actually get it done. And how about having T Ricks on the chat? That was great. That was awesome. It was a niche problem, but interesting troubleshooting process. It is definitely a niche problem. But look, for those of you guys who are working with clients, you know, how many times do your clients want to add in images? And if you're not, like, look at the defaults here. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's just set this to default, right? Meh. Yeah. Kind of boring, you know? Versus what we had before, you know? It's interesting. So, you know, this is the UI that your clients are going to see in Webflow. They're going to be in here, and their images they're going to have these options right there. So to be able to say, you know what, if you want it to float right, you know, just click that, and then you get a result that's different. It's unique. It's kind of cool. So I think we need to tweak this text styling here just one little bit. Oh, that's float right. Never mind. Float left. There we go. Better. And we should also add a little bit of margin to this block. Breathes a little bit better. And then obviously for anything below that 900 and what is it, 990 point, we'll just swap it over to being a normal caption under the image, move the image back to centered, and keep it simple for mobile devices. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys liked it. Really appreciate these videos. I get stuck a lot in Webflow, so these detailed processes make it more accessible. Well, thanks. Krista, Leonard, appreciate that. All right, so we need to get recentered. We need to get back to our XD doc and finish out the bottom of the footer here. Okay, so we got another collection list here for other content, and then we've got a next button that goes to collab. Very cool. Now normally on content pages like a blog post or something, you'd have an author description and all that kind of stuff, but because it's a personal website, I felt like that wasn't really needed. So we'll just build this, and then, oh, you know what? This was the slider that I was planning on doing something kind of funky with. So what I was planning on is, as these things fade into or scroll into view, the image is gonna basically increase in size as it came into view, and then the container would increase in size and kind of reveal more of the image. So that was the thought there. So we'll put a content or a collection list together, and then we'll leave this kind of specialized styling for when we put our sliders together. And the decision here was really to see if our slick sliders, if leaving them, the same height was going to be the right call, like we've done over on this page, same height all the way, versus something like this, which is kind of more interactive. So let's do this real quick. Slider together. All right, so I'm gonna try and get used to these. Content container. Man, those keyboard shortcuts are choice. All right, and then we want div. Let's see, what is this? I think that's going to be a 4-column div. And then we need a heading. Collection list. So right now this is pulling from the content collection. So you can see we've got content, tribes or demographics, fear the driving force, etc., etc. And I'm basically just going to build out our items. We need a link block inside each collection item. So that way it will link out to the current content. And we'll add an image. Pull that from the featured image. So there we are. We'll probably have to add a wrapper div around this image as well. Container. Okay. Then we need some text. Post title. What else did we have here? Oh, we had the content type set in that meta text. Over to our style guide. So we could just set those to heading 3. So this is where our styling is going to kick us here, because we added a significant amount of margin on the top of these for good reason, right? Because it's basically inside these our content block here. Look at that. We've got the old styling inside this rich text for the numbered list. We fixed the unordered list, but we have to do the same thing for our ordered list here, so we'll do that in a second. All right, so I'm going to remove that, and then we will restyle these for specifically inside rich text. So we'll get rid of that. Now we're back to something a little bit reasonable. Okay, and then related content, image container. Add some margin on the bottom of that. So we're going to want to set a width for our image container. And let's see. Probably be full width. So 1,000. Anybody remember what that was? 52 EMs. So we're going to set that image to cover, so that way as we change the aspect ratio of this container, the image should change. Let's see. Doing something wrong here. Great song. Let's see. It is A City in Ruins by Matt Large. On Epidemic. wonder why this image is not covering. Anybody know? So here's the container. The other one is. There it is. Flex. Okay. Nope. I didn't do it. Ah, here we go. It's kind of amazing that like the solution to most of our problems is Flexbox. All right, let's see. Related content wrapper. I think that's about it. Let's see. It's much closer to the footer, which I think this is a little excessive here. I just go 70 there. Okay. So let's style this ordered list. I think we'll call it a day. Go over here. So again, we can't style anything in this rich text because it's connected to our CMS. So we actually have to go over here to Style Guide and edit this. And you see right there, it's still pulling Hercules, which was the old typeface for my site. So go over here, grab all ordered list, reset all these items, and we should be good. 5, let's check it against this. Yep. So it's just pulling the body. Let's see. List item. Okay, so this is where we've sized it. We should probably move that styling up top to the list. And that way that the styling is not buried in the list item, and it's at the list level. So we'll go here. This is going to be 1.2. I think this is 1.42 EM. There we go. Beautiful. And we'll match our margins here. So we've got 4 EM padding and 2 EM margin on the bottom. Okay, so now we can go back to our content template and check our list. Let's see. If it's saying yes. Oh, yeah, it's right there. Blew right by it. Cool. Okay. And you can see this one's missing a featured image. It definitely changes the look and feel of the page. So we'll have to make sure that we have at least a featured image, if not like a video embed or something like that. This is funny because this looks a little short. Let's take a look at the content system here. Oh yeah, it's short. Never mind. You can see the difference that aspect ratio makes between those two posts for those float images. Let's see. See what I mean? It's totally different vibe. So I'll just have to remember that. If it's going to be float left or float right, this image aspect ratio is going to have to be maintained. Okay. All right, so we got some smaller type stuff to do. Like our margins here on these headers need to be moved into the selector only within the rich text block, but then that looks pretty good. Yeah, okay, cool. So today was kind of intense. We did a deep dive into something super specific, so I'm hoping that you guys found that valuable. But I think we're gonna call it a day. It's about 2 o'clock my time, and I need to get to work. So next stream we will continue this journey. I think what I'm going to do is try and lay out most of the site at night when I can't stream, and then during the stream we'll work out some of those interactions that are going to be a little bit more tricky. Things like getting the menu to open and working on that light mode, dark mode situation, or adding noise to the background of the website. That kind of stuff is going to be more difficult for me to work through. And usually when I have a challenge in front of me, it makes for a better stream, more interesting, because I'm throwing my keyboard across the room and stuff. But yeah, I think that this was a productive day. Did something that I've been kind of wanting to do for a very long time. Get those images under control. All right, let's find someone to raid. It's been a minute. So let's see. We've raided AA last time, and I think we need to do that again. Let's see. Yeah, nobody else is on that I know. So that's what we're gonna do. So Twitch people, get ready to raid. Let's go ahead and set this up. I'm gonna go ahead and start this raid. And over on Twitch, you should be able to opt into the raid. 23 viewers. Sweet. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for hanging in there while I fight the good fight. And yeah, it was a really productive day on my end. So have a great rest of your day, and I will see you Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. See you, everybody.